Again, I want to talk to you about the downgrade of U.S. sovereign debt from AAA to AA plus, and some of the rationale behind it. One thing I wanted to address was the entitlements, and again, that's a big sticking point for me because I can't wrap my head around what this David Beers had said on Fox News. I'll let you go ahead and listen in. One moment.
But do you need to see a mix? Does any compromise have to have both entitlement reform and revenue increases to be credible?
Well, we think credibility would mean that any agreement would command support from both political parties because, of course, the composition of Congress and of course, the administration could change from 2012 onwards. But the key thing is, yes, entitlement reform is important because the entitlement is the biggest component of spending, and they're the part of spending where the cost pressures are greatest.
Okay, so once again, you saw an excerpt from Fox News Sunday, August 7th, 2011. That was David Beers, the director of the Sovereign Debt Division of S&P, stating that that entitlement spending was one of the factors in downgrading U.S. sovereign debt from AAA to AA+, and that entitlement reform is one of the key factors in America reclaiming that sterling rating in the future. And I have a couple of things in regards to that. First, entitlement spending encompasses Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. We all know that. And a couple of other programs, but these are the biggest three. Social Security and Medicaid are considered trust funds. However, neither fund is earmarked for a specific purpose, and both are counted as a part of the government's general fund. So the monies reserved for Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid are counted as cash assets on the overall federal balance sheet. However, they are not a part of the federal debt calculation. So let me say this again. Entitlement spending that's comprised of Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, they're not a part of the federal debt calculation. And part of the reason for that is really simple. There are just too many factors involved that affects the government's liability to place them on the balance sheet. The trust at any time can be extinguished by an act from Congress. The minimum age qualification can be arbitrarily changed. Payroll tax contributions ebb and flow in correlation with the current state of the economy. So there are just way too many factors for the United States federal government to put Social Security liability or entitlement liability on the balance sheet. And so that's why they're considered, in the private sector, they would be considered contingent liabilities off the balance sheet, footnoted, like I said before. Now, the part I want you to realize is that no debt, not any debt in the past, not any debt in the present, or in the current future, has been issued to cover the benefits drawn from these trusts. So again, let me say this, to be clear for everyone out there, that no debt, not the treasury bills or bonds, have been issued to finance these entitlement benefits and the payouts thereof. So that's one thing I want everyone to understand. My second point is concerning his peculiar focus on the cost projections associated with these pending liabilities. The upward cost pressures on recipient benefits have no weight on factoring the creditworthiness of debt. Because to put it quite simply, again, no debt has been previously issued to fund any benefit payouts. But in a moment I will point out to you what is the largest driving factor in debt finance spending. Hold on. So here we are at the website offthechartsblog.org, and we're on the webpage titled "What's Driving Projected Debt?" And here on this webpage we have a graphic illustration of our public debt with the baseline of 2001 projected to the year 2019, and this the source of this is based on the CBO, is based on Congressional Budget Office estimates. So once again, this is a projection of the public debt and what it's comprised of, and you can see here the orange is ostensibly the largest part, and surprise, surprise, is the Bush era tax cuts. And two things that jump out at me as one of the cost drivers behind the public debt. The first thing is that the growth rate. Look at the growth rate between 2008 to about 2012. You can see here that the growth rate is almost exponential. It's almost x squared. So that's one thing that jumps out at me. The second thing that is kind of peculiar here is that after 2013 on forward to the projected year of 2019, you can see that the growth rate is normalized again. It's a linear growth rate, but it's upward. It's an upward moving growth rate. Whereas the growth rates of the other portions comprising our debt, whether or not it be the wars in Iraq, the economic downturn, TARP, Fannie Mae, and Freddie Mac, those other components, they're either lateral with no growth rate or barely a discernible growth rate, or they're negative. You can see here we have negative growth rates. So those are things I wanted to point out to you. Again, that's at offthechartsblog.org. So just to wrap this up, I want to let you know that I'm at a loss as to how the S&P's Sovereign Debt Division, headed by David Beers, can directly connect entitlement spending and contingent future liabilities with that of debt-financed public spending, whose biggest cost driver is the Bush-era tax cuts. I just don't quite understand it. If the projected deficit inhibits our government's ability to pay, then it makes perfect sense to focus on eliminating the largest cost driving our public spending, which is, once again, the Bush-era tax cuts. If anyone's watching this video has any other insight, I'd be happy to listen to you, because I'm just baffled. I'm just quite baffled as to how the S&P can focus on entitlement spending and not additional revenues. One last thing is that this is August 8th, Monday. So here it is, early Monday morning. I predict that the S&P's downgrade will not have any, if at all, a little bit, little discernible change as to the discount rate on Treasury bills. So we'll see. Okay, peace to you.